called, it's a interactive book. And so some of you, there's been a lot of books kind of made like this, maybe you've seen them before, but basically it's kind of where you get to choose what your little character looks like. So I have a bear. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take your 2 pieces of plain paper and you're gonna line them up real good so they're nice and lined up, and you're gonna fold it in half this way, like that. Okay, and make sure they line up nice and straight. And I get those corners, and you fold it like so. Okay, and then you're gonna take your stapler and you're gonna staple real close to the edges in 3 spots. So 1, 2, 3. Make sure you got both pieces of paper in there so it doesn't fall out. Now you have your little book. Now you're gonna go through your book and you're gonna make sure that you can open all the pages. So we're gonna open the first page up and it's gonna like kind of curve, and you're gonna want to bend it so that it sits flat, just like this. And then we're gonna go to the next one, curve it open, and just crease it right there, just so that you're not fighting with it later when you're trying to do your drawing and everything. Okay. And then we'll close that up, and we have a little book, right? All right. The next thing, now this might be like, why am I doing this? But just trust me, we're gonna make some little helpers, some measuring tools for ourselves. So we're gonna look at our piece of cardboard, and we want a piece of cardboard that is the length, it's the height of our paper, because it's gonna guide our drawing later. Is as we're going through our book, you'll notice, here I'll do this one, this is my mixed up monsters one. You'll notice that everybody is the same width. Every guy, his body's the same width. Do you see that? So like when I turn the page, his body's the same width. He's the same width. He's the same width. I did another one, where'd the other one go? It's a little more clear. Mixed up writers, here we go. So if you look at this one, so when I made this, I laid a piece of cardboard down and I drew lines where I wanted the bodies to be, and then on every single page their bodies are the same thickness. Okay, so we're just using a measuring tool. So I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to it. So okay, so everybody have your pieces of cardboard. You're gonna take your thin one and you're gonna line it up with your outside edge on the very front page, and you're just gonna trace a line all the way down with a pencil so that you have a line right there, and then you're gonna line it up with it like this again, and you're gonna do another line. So you should have 2 lines that are sort of evenly spaced, and it's very important that when you're lining it up, that you're lining it up with the outside edge and then with itself as you're doing it, okay? Next, we're gonna take our really big, thick piece of cardboard and we're gonna do the other direction. So we're gonna start at the very top of our book, and we're gonna line it up at the top right here. So it's super straight. And then we're gonna do a line and a line, and we're using the cardboard, and instead of just making crisscross like throughout the book, just like We're using the measuring tool so that we know every single page is going to be exactly the same. So that when we draw our creatures or our people or whatever we make in our book, they're going to all line up and they're going to have, you can switch up their heads and their bodies and it'll be really fun. But if they don't line up, it's less fun. It's still fun, but it's less fun. Here we go. Another one. So everyone should have, and you or be working on having these 4 lines that divide your page into 9 sections. Okay. On three of your pages. So there's the front page looks like that, and the next page looks like that, and the next page looks like that. So I'm going to go ahead and start moving forward with just talking about what we're going to do next. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to think about what these dividers mean, and so that if you guys want to do your own drawings like my boys did, you can. If you want to follow along with me and do the bear, you can do that. But basically, on each page, you need to think about it like this. The middle part, this middle section, that's where your person goes, or your animal. This top one is the head. This middle one is the body. And this bottom one is the legs and feet. Now, if you want your guy to have like arms that go, see how my bear is a little wider than the little, if you want the arms to come out, just make sure that they stay in this section. Like if his arms, you can have the arms go crazy inside this section. Or if his arms can go over here. If it goes up into the next picture, it's going to be cut off when you turn the page. So you don't want that to happen. So arms stay in this section, legs stay in this section, head stays in this section, and you want the main part to be here, here, and here. And the nice way to think about it is just to kind of look at these little crosshairs. Those are where you want your picture to line up. Okay, so if everyone's ready, I'm going to go ahead and get a marker, and then we're going to start drawing this bear. Okay. And if you want, you can start by sketching it out in pencil, and then color it in later. If you feel like a little bit stressed by doing it with pen right away. But I'll go ahead and do it in marker so you guys can see what I'm doing, and I'll work slow, okay? Everybody ready? We're gonna start with his head, and I'm gonna start at this little X mark right here, and I'm gonna go up for the top of his head, and then over, and then down. So I got this nice semicircle. And then on top of his head, I'm gonna give him an ear. And his ear is gonna go whoop, like that. Just a small version of what I just did. And then there's another one inside, and there's his first ear. And I like putting their ears kind of lopsided because I think it makes them look cute. So the next ear is going to be over here. About the same size, but just kind of wonky, right? And then like that. And then inside his face, not dropping, like it's got to stay inside this area, right? I'm going to do kind of a thinner, more pointy version of that scoop, that shape. And it stops with extra room at the bottom. And then I'm going to do a really kind of flattened out W for wah, wah, for the bottom of that shape. Okay, that's like his jowls, his like bare mouth. And then we're going to do his bottom lip that sticks out just barely below, just like a little shoop. And then we're going to do his nose. His nose, the top of it is kind of like a rectangle, so I'm going to go like this. There's a rectangle, and so it's like you got a angle right here, or a backwards 7 maybe, I don't know. And then we're gonna do a wiggly line. It goes down, up, down, up, down. There we go, there's his nose. Okay. I'm just gonna fill that in just because I can. And I like to leave a little white spot on his nose, make it look shiny. Okay. And this bear needs some eyes. Bears, their eyes are like really close together sometimes. So I'm just gonna give him an eye here and an eye there. He looks a little confused. He doesn't know why he's fishing. I put eyebrows up here just for fun. Well, more like one eyebrow. I don't know, they're all like close together. All right, so there's our bear, his face. We're gonna come down here and we're gonna start with the top of the back of the fish because that's the thing that's kind of in front of everything. So we wanna draw the front thing first. So I'm gonna do kind of a really lazy letter M. So it's like almost laying flat. It's going down for a nap. Letter M. Oh, or it's like seagull or something. I don't know. Kind of like, yeah, there we go. Really lazy M, right? And it's going to go across those middle section. Then the fish's mouth, he's really upset about being caught, so it goes down. And then it's open. Like that, so I just did like a little line at the bottom. And then his tail, we're just going to do a little bit of a point for his tail. And then off the tail is this triangle shape. Okay? Like it's, and remember we talked about overlapping last week. So his body overlaps the tail. Okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and whoop, 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 put some lines in there for the shape of his tail. And now we need the bear to hold the fish. So his little paws are coming up underneath the fish and holding him. So we're just gonna do, first we'll go do this paw. So his paw comes up and it's just jaggedy lines, about that wide, like a jaggedy line. And you just go, and then you take this outside line and you're gonna curve it around to make his elbow. And then you can imagine it going behind the tail. And then you're gonna come up and make it connect. We're connecting it right here. Don't go above, right here at that cross line, those reference lines that we made earlier. So imagine it going behind the tail and then up to the shoulder, okay? And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So he needs his paw holding the fish. So scrape, like that, right? Then we're gonna take this inside one and bring it out for his elbow. And then imagine it going behind the fish's face and a shoulder that connects to his neck, okay? And now the fish needs a belly and a fin. So we're gonna do his fin. It's kind of like a triangle, like this. Like it's his fin kind of like, oh no. And then his belly is behind it. So we're just gonna imagine that behind there, okay? There's his belly. And I'll give him some fins. And if we want, we can do another triangle right on his back, like this, that's kind of laying down. And that's for his fins that are on top. Okay. And I'm gonna give my fish a big scared eye because he's really upset about being caught. Big, huge eye, a dot in the middle, and maybe a sad eyebrow. Ah! What's going on? I don't like being caught, says the fish. All right. And we're gonna go down.
You can't talk when they're out of water.
Yeah, you can't talk when you're out of, it's true. He's more like, you can't breathe. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and come down and look at where we're gonna put the bear's waist. It's gonna fit inside these lines, these pencil lines that we had it from the beginning because we wanted to line up with our other drawings. So I'm gonna draw the front of the bear, his waist goes down and his legs, and I'm gonna stop with plenty of room to put feet in. And then on the other side, we're gonna go waist down to the leg, stopping with plenty of room to put the feet in. All right, the feet, I put both his feet facing one direction. He's kind of turned that way. So we're gonna do that. So this foot is gonna go out and it's gonna be very similar to the fingers where he has that jaggedy line. And then it's just gonna have, there's the bottom of his foot and then it goes up. And bears don't have very long legs. They have big torsos and not very long legs in the back. So I like to exaggerate that and give them little stumpy legs because I think it's funny. And then we'll curve that in for his second leg. And here's the bottom of his foot. And there he is, standing with two bare feet. And then I think it's important that a bear has a tail, so we're gonna give him a tail. We're just gonna make a little bump sticking out from behind him, just like our bunny that we did, was it 2 weeks ago or last week? I can't remember. 2 weeks ago, I think we did the bunny with the behind. So his tail is coming out from behind. And then if you wanna give him some grass to stand on, you can kind of give him some grass. Just make sure it stays below this bottom line. All right. So there is our bear holding a fish. All right. And you can go back and color him later, but right now we're going to turn the page. We're going to turn both pages just to the next page. And I'm going to turn the page so you can see what we're drawing over here. We're going to draw our coffee drinking woodsman. Here he is with his cute little hat, his cute little plaid shirt, and all the things. All right. So we're getting on, and once again, we're going to be looking at our guidelines, our lines. These are very important. And we're going to start with this head. And we start the same exact way. We're going to start, and we're going to do this curved line, just like we did with the bear. Okay. And then on top, we're going to give him his hat. So it's just like it pokes out from on top, and we're just going to follow it just a little bit to the rim of his woolen hat right here. And then you can give him the top of his hat, and I like to make it a little bit wobbly like that. Okay. And you can put lines in it like this. You know, like those ribbed hats. I usually wear one, but I'm not wearing one today, but the knit caps, they're fun. So our little woodsman, all right. Now his eyes are really close to the top of his hat, but just enough room for eyebrows. So we're gonna do one eye here and one eye here. And then we're gonna give him bushy eyebrows, just like that. And there we go. Make sure not to make him go down too far in the middle, because then he'll look like he's angrily drinking coffee. But if we kind of keep them up nice and curved, he'll look happy as he's drinking his coffee. I'm gonna give him a nose in the middle, and it's gonna be fairly close to his eyes. We're just gonna come just a little bit below, and there's his little nose. And then below that is his mouth, and it's smiling. Good morning. I've got coffee and I'm happy, says the little woodsman. Okay, he's gonna have ears poking out from below his hat. And now we're gonna give him his nice beard. Now, as you're working on the beard, make sure that it doesn't go below your little line right here, okay? So I like to start on one side, and I just kind of go down, down, and I'm kind of doing this curved line and go below his. And usually they have like little short bristly part like right under the chin. And then you can kind of go down. Maybe he has a curly beard or a wavy beard. I'm giving this guy a little bit more of a wavy beard than the other one. Okay. There we go. If you want, you can make it a little bit bushier too. I'm gonna make this one. Ooh, yeah. Got a big bushy beard. Big bushy beard. All right. And now he's missing his mustache, so let's make sure we give him a mustache. So that's just short little lines right under his nose. There we go. And now he has a mustache. Okay. Are we all doing good? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up. Thanks, Ruby. All right, thumbs up. Thanks, Laura. All right, so now we're gonna go down and we're gonna give him a torso. Make sure we put it inside this area right here. We're gonna start with his collar of his shirt. So we're just gonna start at that corner of where that X was and that cross was, and we're gonna go curve down. And then I like to give him a little Adam's apple, like this. It just is kind of like a lazy little semicircle curve. And then he needs a collar. So let's do, it's kind of like a curve that comes to the side and then goes up. So it makes a little triangle. And then over here, curve, and it connects right there. All right, before we go too far, we're gonna put where his arms are, okay? Because the arms are in front of his body, so we wanna make sure we do those first. All right, and we know where the body's gonna end up, so let's do his first arm that is gonna be holding his coffee mug right about here. So we're gonna do first curve, and it comes out, that semicircle, and then comes inside his body just a little bit. And then we're gonna make sure he has nice beefy arms because he is a woodsman. So we're just gonna make like that, okay? So I did the side of his body and then the inside curve of his arm, all right? And then I'm gonna put the end of his sleeve, and I can do the cuff of his sleeve. And then for his hand, I'm just gonna go from the top of his cuff, and I'm gonna go curve, that's his thumb, he's holding his mug, you know, like, and then his pointer finger is gonna be pushed inside the mug. There's like, it's like a knuckle, right? And then the rest of him is like, bro, it's just a curve. So it's 1, 2, 3, okay? And now we gotta give him a coffee mug. Coffee mug is kind of like a rectangle with rounded corners right now. Okay, and it's gonna touch his finger, and you can connect it to that one finger that's holding it, right? It's like with a little lip on it. And then right inside, we're gonna do a squashed oval so we can see his coffee inside that. So we're gonna leave that little white rim inside. So we're just gonna do a squashed oval right inside, like that. So it's squashed. And I'm gonna make his coffee nice and black because he's a manly man. Bringing his black coffee. All right. All right, so we got coffee mug, his arm. Now we gotta do his other arm. His other arm is resting on his hip. So we're just gonna do that same. We're gonna have it come down a little bit lower. So let's put a fist here, down here. So let's put the fist on his hip first. Here's the fist. It's just a circle, right? And then we're gonna start at the shoulder, way up here. And we're gonna come down and we're gonna connect to the outside bottom like this. All right, so there we go. We have the outside of his arm. Now we're gonna do the inside. So we're gonna make sure this is where his armpit is, and it's gonna curve around. Nice, oh, it made it a little thinner than I wanted, that's okay. And then, and then we're gonna do his side of his body. And it goes behind his hand. We don't overlap his hand, we wanna keep that in front. His hand is in front of his body, and then we're gonna bring that all the way down to where his waist is gonna be, right here, okay? So now, depending on how wide your little thin piece was, you'll have different amounts of room for legs and things doing different things. So we're gonna go like this. We're gonna give him a belt right here at the middle. And I like to do a belt like that, okay? And we're gonna have one leg up on a stump. And you can do it either direction. I did this one this direction. I think I'm gonna do this one, not to be confusing, but I think I have more room on this side. I'm gonna make his leg going out this way, so it's gonna be the opposite direction. So this first leg is gonna come up, and it's gonna be a curve, and then down, so that he can be putting his foot on the stump. And then that other leg, gonna come down straight like that, all right? And we're gonna make, I'm just gonna do the bottom of his pants so that we'll do the feet later. And then we're gonna curve up. There's his one leg, and then his other leg comes over here. And like that, okay? And then with this one, I'm gonna give him little boots. You can make your boots kind of however you want, but I'm just gonna make him boots like that. Maybe give him like little laces, which I like to do is like little kind of B's, the letter B, sort of. And then maybe we'll give him some socks. I'm gonna have some socks. He's got striped socks going on. There we go. There's his striped socks. And then we'll put striped socks over here just because that's fun. And then this foot is pointing towards us, so we don't need to make it that boot shape. We can just make it go straight down. And then like the laces are on top, so it looks more like a bow. Okay. All right, and if you want to get really fancy, we can give them pockets, which is just a little curved line here and a little curved line there for pockets. I like putting pockets in jeans. Makes it look like he's not wearing yoga pants, he's wearing jeans. Okay, and then, oh, we gotta do our stump. So he's putting his foot on a stump. So we're gonna do that squashed oval for the top of the stump. And if your stump goes off the page, that's fine. I'm gonna have mine go off the page today. So there's that squashed oval for the top of the stump, and then go down, and then that kind of jaggedy line for the bottom of the stump. And you can give it stripes if you want to make it look like it has bark on it. Just kind of wavy stripes, kind of like his beard. All right, and then maybe some grass. All right, so we have our woodsman. Hooray! All right, last one. I'm gonna turn our page. And we're gonna turn this page. And we have our fish. Our fish is gonna be pretty easy. There's fewer lines than the woodsman. So let's do our fish together. Now remember, there's head, body, and legs. So let's keep those pieces together in those spots. So we're gonna start up here, and we're gonna start sort of the same way, but we're gonna like kind of stop halfway. So we're gonna go up in half our curve, and then before we get there, we're gonna make a little mouth, and it's gonna come down, and then slightly open, and a little bit taller, and then curve, and make sure that you end right here. So we're gonna curve to there, okay? There's his mouth. And fish have really big eyes that are set in their heads, kind of, so we only see one eye because we're seeing half of him, okay? So we only see one eye, and he's got a really big eye, so raw. And then eyeball. And you can fill that in if you want, or leave a little highlight like we did on the bear's nose if you want. There we go. So we got that. All right, so now we're gonna do his back. And his back is gonna come down along that guideline we made earlier. And then once it gets to the kind of legs portion down here, we're gonna start making a V. So we're gonna go V, like that. All right. And then his fin on this side comes in front of his body. So we're gonna draw that first so we don't accidentally go over it. So his fin is kind of like, it's kind of like a triangle. It starts there, and it comes down, and then it comes smaller, but don't touch the triangles together because we need to join to his body. So it's kind of like it's a sloppy triangle. And then once you have that fin in the spot you want it, then you can continue the body and have it run into it because it goes behind that fin, okay? Next, we're gonna give him that back fin right here. Shrunk. It's like another triangle, and make sure that it doesn't go past this section right here. Okay, and then his tail fin kind of starts at where it starts to get narrow, and it's gonna go out, and then we can do a wavy line at the bottom, start and then go out. And we can add little lines for details. Whoop, like that. And here. And here. Okay. And one last thing, let's make sure he can breathe when he is underwater. So we're going to give him some gills back here. They're below this line right here, and they just kind of look like smiles. And there's two of them. I don't know if there's two on actual fishes. Maybe there's more on actual fish, but we're just going to do two for now. Okay. So at this point, normally this is the point when I would color everything in. Let's see, but we were kind of running out of time, so you guys can color this in later. You can get your marker crayons out. I used markers on this one. I used crayons on this one. And I didn't color this one in at all, so you can leave it black or just, plain like you want. But save that for later. You can color in after we're done with class. We're gonna finish this like a book, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna close it all up. And so that we're gonna look at all of our drawings. We're like, oh, there's the bear, there's the man, there's the fish, all right? We're all ready. And then there's that back blank page, right? All right, so we're gonna open it up so that we have the back blank page separate. So we're gonna crease that again. So we have the front pages and we have the back page. And we're gonna leave that back page kind of splayed out like that. And we're gonna get our scissors. This is the nerve-wracking part. And we're gonna look at our first line right here. And we're gonna take all 3 pages all at once, really big wide scissors. And you don't wanna go snip, 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 like a bunch of little snips. You wanna open your scissors as wide as possible. Put them back here, and you're gonna cut along that line as carefully as you can, all 3 pages at once. And it's gonna cut off the head of your bear. And you're gonna go all the way until where your paper bends, right there, okay? So now we have his head is disconnected, rah, 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 right? Okay, real careful. This is so nerve-wracking. It's okay, it's okay. All right, so I believe in you. All right, so now we're gonna go down to the bottom, like where the waist is, and we're gonna do the same exact thing. We're gonna lift up all 3 pages at once, get all the way to the back of those scissors. We're gonna make as smooth as possible cut all the way along that line that we made earlier, that guideline, all the way to where it creases. There we go. All right. So now you should be able to flip through and see your bear drinking coffee. Oh, somebody got knocked off. Hold on for a second. All right. Oh, the Jacksons are waiting. Okay, we're good. So you should be able to see, all these things going on. Have fun with it. Now, this is a little flimsy and it might fall apart if we don't put a cover on it. So we're going to take our piece of construction paper. Now, usually construction paper is a little bit bigger than regular paper, so that you'll notice when you fold it in half, you're going to fold it in half just like we folded it on our regular paper. It's going to be a little bit bigger than so you're going to have like a little extra room, and that is okay. That actually helps it. If you look at regular books, you'll notice that the cover goes beyond the pages, and that actually is to protect the pages. So if we put it inside, nothing's sticking out. It's all inside this protective cover. We open it up and make sure that it fits nicely. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna close it, crease that real nice, like this, okay? And then we're gonna put our staples along the edge again. If you look inside, you can kind of check where your staples are already. And you're gonna wanna kind of place them in different spots. So like right here, maybe up tops. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make sure that my book is all the way, my paper's all the way inside. Tap it down like that. I'm gonna use my stapler. I'm gonna do one at the bottom, one kind of here, one here, and one at the very top. Okay, so now I have all those staples, and I can do the same thing when we first made our book. We kind of bent back that first page, so you can do that real careful. Just bend back that first page, so that when you open it, you're not fighting with it. You can crease it. And now you can enjoy your book like so. Doo-doo-doo. There he is, the lumberjack holding the fish. Or the fish holding the fish. What's going on? It's so weird. Okay, so And then if you want, you can write on the front. You can write your name at the bottom, the date. Celia Baker, 2020. Yeah. And then if you want to, I named all of my books Mixed Up Something. So there's Mixed Up Riders, Mixed Up Monsters, Mixed Up Woods. I also thought a fitting name for this would be Mixed Up Northwest or something like that, or Mixed Up Outdoors. I like Mixed Up Outdoors. Let's do that this time. So just write it real big. Mixed Up Outdoors. And then I like to make embellishments like that. All right, so the rest of your time, you can open it up. You can do some coloring. You can take an eraser and erase these guidelines that you don't need anymore. Just be careful as you're coloring and as you're erasing that you're holding your paper down, because sometimes we go like this, and erasing, and it'll pull on the page and it'll go, wah, and it's like, oh no. So don't do that. Hold it down real gentle and erase real gentle your guidelines as you go. If you see extra guidelines that you want to erase, you can kind of go through like this. Real careful. Erasing those guidelines. You can grab out your crayons, your markers. Color these guys in however you like. You don't have to make them a brown bear. You can make them a pink bear or a black bear, or you can add eyelashes. Who was it? Add eyelashes to our alligator a couple weeks ago. That was fun.